The East Coast saw a mostly favourable start to the 2021 season, with only a few, yet very serious challenges. The mouse plague has definitely been on top of that list, and has created a financial, physical and emotional burden for farmers this season, particularly in New South Wales. And while colder temperatures will assist farmers currently baiting mice, a re-emergence of population in spring will remain a real risk in the outlook, and the impact will need to be closely watched. Moving to planting, total East Coast area is forecasted up 2% this year at 10.8 million hectares, boosted by a strong recovery in Queensland. And while 2% might not sound like a big increase, it means that 2021 East Coast planting will be just 1.4% off the all-time record high set in 2008. And that's despite less than optimal rainfall in southern New South Wales and across Victoria, particularly in the Murray and Mallee. While in most regions of New South Wales, area either increased this year or stayed flat, the Namoi saw a decline in winter crop planting, and that's despite great soil moisture. To help us understand why, let's switch to our Senior Rural Manager in Tamworth, Denovan Ellis. Denovan, we've seen a reduction in planting this year in the Namoi, despite rainfall and soil moisture being pretty good. Why has this happened?
Well, I think in the western Namoi, where they don't grow a lot of summer crop, the planting area will be very similar, albeit there'll be a bit more chickpeas and perhaps canola growing. But in the eastern areas, where traditionally it's more summer crop growing and winter crop as well, there's been a plant to summer crop, and also there'll be a fallow over the winter period to grow more summer crop next year. And that's why.
Thanks, Denovan. Now let's switch to some factors influencing prices of local crops. Firstly, following last year's harvest, we estimate around 25% of East Coast 2020 crop to still be on farm, and this is expected to weigh on prices until it's sold. Secondly, the increased shift from barley and oats to canola will likely mean increased price pressure on canola at harvest, but possibly the opposite for oats. Thirdly, in 2022, we will see Ramadan, a religious holiday, occur 2 weeks early. This means that local pulse harvest will not occur in time in Bangladesh and Pakistan, meaning more imports from Australia and consequently price support. Lastly, to help us understand what cattle on feed will mean for feed grain demand, we switch to our senior animal protein analyst, Angus Gidley-Baird.
Well, cattle on feed last year dropped as a result of improved seasonal conditions and reduced livestock availability. Numbers that we see at the beginning of this year, Q1 2021, has cattle on feed at about, or just over 1 million head. This is about 11% down on the average for the 2018-19, and we believe it's probably the bottom of the cycle. Not only have those improved seasonal conditions and reduced livestock availability had an impact on numbers, but it's also impacted prices. If you're a feedlotter out there at the moment, you're buying very expensive feeder cattle, up in the $6.50 cents per kilogram live weight mark, which is very expensive. But they've been fortunate in the sense that the grain-fed cattle prices have been sustained, some very strong domestic and global market demand there. Also, the feed grain prices dropped through last year, so they've helped support the margins of the feedlotters. Looking into 2021 and 2022, as we look forward, we're expecting that fed grain price to remain fairly buoyant as a result of opening up of food service industries. We'd expect cattle on feed numbers to gradually increase as they work their way through the system, and as a result, some of those feeder cattle prices might ease a little bit. With that strong fed grain price, an easing in feeder cattle prices, and an increase in numbers, we'd expect there to be good demand from feedlots and hopefully strong margins as well.
Thanks, Angus. Well, that's it for this video. And if you would like more details on prices and conditions in the 2021 season, be sure to download the report through the link in the description below.